Yes. Back again. Coffee break with Cheyenne is back again. Yeah, we got some biggest, bluest. My hat is like a shark's fin blue in the background. Welcome back, Coffee break, Cheyenne. Oh, I forgot to get. I got the coffee. I got the coffee. Hello. I'm all discombobulated. You guys, give me a second. Whoa, whoa. And welcome back to Coffee Break with JN. Uh, Motown Philly back again with a little coffee break swang. Coffee break with JN. And caffeines, you know who you are, caffeines. Friends of regulars, not decaf. Going off, not too hard. Pause. Not too soft. Well, hello. Good morning, Vietnam. We're back in effect. And I got the coffee. I gotta clear my screen, guys. I'm so guys, we're getting old, y'all. We're getting old because I totally took a nap before, before coffee break. Like dinner happened. I had to do some stuff with the dog. Flipped the laundry, and I was like, "I'ma just rest my eyes. I'ma just rest my eyes for a minute." And then I looked up, and it was like, bang. Well, the ref coffee break. And if I look a little discombobulated, I got to get my fit right. Um, you guys, welcome to Coffee Break with JN. I think we have a very yeah, word up. So if I'm acting like out of sorts, it's just I just woke up. What up, Gordon? Power nap, yes, sir. I took one and I'm still recovering now. Usually I have some sort of like theme for these. Like I usually have a little kind of thing I want to do, or I'm like I have a vibe I'm catching, or I want to talk about something. But I kind of was thinking earlier today, like, and I'm a blank slate, you guys. And I think we're going to have a small pause, a small audience today. I don't know, for some reason, it just seems like everybody's out and about. Sorry. I know that's contagious to yawn, and then you make everybody else yawn. But we're going to do our best because we're live. Smiles, everyone. We're going to get this going. Let's say some hellos. Yo, Ronaldo. Welcome to the World Cup. What up, Ronaldo? I know Ronaldo enjoys some footy. Pause. I see my man, Uncle Mike, Tio Michael, quickly becoming an MVP of the JNN Jamar Nicholas Network, who's always up in the mix. I appreciate you, brother. I see my man Gordon. Hello, Gordon. How are you? I see my man Bross. What up, Bross? A very special coffee break. Cross World Cup opening day. Yes, sir. And I will be the first to say I am not the world's biggest soccer dude. Like I've learned some stuff from Bros, but I don't know. So I'm excited. I just hope everyone had fun. I'm excited that the world's excited. Um, and we'll see how this goes. Ronaldo says, I meant to take a 30-minute nap after work that turned into 3 hours. Got to be more careful. Right? We might have to talk on that for a second because that's real. That's some real rap. And you know how we are, you guys. You just kind of like you burn the candle at both ends, something serious, and then you pay for it, right? And I don't even want to talk about like I don't know, like gender roles and stuff like that. But you just know, probably 9 times out of 10 in your life, you don't have the luxury to just like not do stuff, right? So you gotta be all things to all people, right? And then it's like I know for me, and I've been trying to embrace the nap There's a million reasons why I don't nap, but sometimes like your body's like, yeah, okay, we're taking a nap, and then you just kind of like, ew, you got to get that RoboCop chair nap. I'm trying. I'm trying not to yawn. Yo, shout out to Matt. Hey, folks, coming to you from Charlotte. That's another thing. Half our audience is at Heroes Con. Half the chat's at Heroes. So hello from BarCon over at Heroes. I know you were like almost like the '80s on a Thursday at 7:30. Yo, we gotta get home because Cosby's about to come on pause. It doesn't ring the same anymore, does it? Ronaldo says, I even set an alarm, but sleepy me turned it off. Oh man, alarms don't mean nothing to me. I don't even know what who we kidding? Every time I set an alarm. Every time I set an alarm, I just ignore it, or I'm like, oh, what's that noise? It's the alarm you set. Yo, that's just your alarm clock. That's that woo woo. That's that woo woo. You supposed to be up already. That's your alarm clock. That's supposed to wake you up in the morning. But on oh man, I'm like hot flashing. So I don't, guys. Maybe we can start with World Cup. If you are very excited about football, Hugar al football, the sport of the world, soccer. Let's do it. We'll do it early ones and twos. There's only like a couple people in the chat, but we'll make it work. All right, guys, ones and twos. If you are excited about the World Cup and soccer invading Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and other points east, put a one in the chat. If you could not care less about soccer, put a two in the chat. Let's discuss. Oh, well, hold on. I could do a poll. Hold on. We're gonna. Hold on. I forgot how to do this. It's been a minute. All right, there we go. We'll put that in the chat. And then I'm gonna move that up there. Are you hyped for footy? One, yes sir. Two, Nizar. So let's populate the chat, and we'll just let that. We'll let it populate, and you guys tell me. All right, hold on a second. Hey, good. It's good for you guys. Some new check-ins. Gordon's here for football. One, Ronaldo is here for some football. Yo, what up, Mark? Good to see you, bro. Shout out to the Manly clan. Yo, 2 million could not care less about the world sport. Ross, of course. You can't double up. You only get one shot. um so I'll say this, that, and I guess maybe I'm fronting with my Japan hoodie on. I rep Japan to the fullest. Is I think, I mean, it kind of says something about what up, Cruz and Bill? Good to see you. Two's like nah. Two is nah. Oh, my fault, bro. Yes. Um, it seems like I don't know. I have this standing thing about enjoying a sport, and I think a lot of them are pastimes, right? And we talk about pastimes, we talk about you were you simply like baseball. I was born in the darkness. Um, you probably liked a sport because someone in your family liked the sport, which then made you there was a connection in that way. Like, say your pops love the Orioles, not Oreos, the Orioles, the baseball club, and you guys would talk about the baseball game, or maybe go to a game, or that was a big thing. Hey, look, for your birthday, I got tickets to the baseball game. Or you would sit in the living room while your uncle would curse out the television because they need to get better bats. Where's the pitching or whatever? You're like, yeah, we need bats. Pause. What up? What up, Bill West? Good to see you. And I think that kind of carries on, and then you become a fan of said thing. I don't know. Love them Keeblers. Shout out to Pops. Um, but I think I would be hard pressed to believe there are people that just kind of, especially with these kind of major sports, just decided to be a fan with no context to it. So maybe for you soccer folks, you soccer hooligans, I would love if you put into the chat how you became a fan of soccer. Did you play it when you were a kid? Was there a lot in your neighborhood? I mean, I know maybe with hockey even. Like I know like there's some neighborhoods in South Philly where kids are like doing the hockey thing, or even if they just have the net and stuff in the street. Mark says my daughter loves baseball all on her own. That's cool. She just kind of picked it up. It'd be interesting because I I consider myself something of a anthrologist. I consider myself something of an anthropologist myself. I always mess that Norman Osborn quote up. I consider myself something of a scientist myself. Man, will somebody please give me that quote because I screw it up every time. Um, I guess pro wrestling doesn't count because I became a big pro wrestling fan just because there was one morning I turned on the TV, and I know a lot of people got into pro wrestling because they saw the Iron Sheik. They saw Hulk Hogan beat the Iron Sheik, and it just did something to their brain matter. But I think it was like a Saturday afternoon, and I turned on Channel 48, and like Dusty Rhodes was getting jumped by the Four Horsemen or something, and I was just like, "What's this?" And it was dark, and it was visceral, and it was violent, and it was screaming and bells ringing, and I was ensorcelled by the violence. So yeah, maybe anybody else wants to tell me how they got into soccer, or if there's something else that you enjoy as a sport. How did you get hooked to it? Ronaldo says, I played as a kid, but got big into the beautiful game following the '94 World Cup. Been hooked ever since. That's what's up. Um, Now, back in my old life when I worked at the college in on spring preview, well, I accompanied students to London, and we we went to, I think it was Brentford. It was a little town outside of London, and we went to the footy match, and it was amazing. I think that I talked about that before. That was where like there was a soccer pitch just like in the middle of this neighborhood, and people just walk down the middle of the street. It's just like Ted Lasso, there's like little pubs on the corner where people just like hanging out the windows watching the match. That's all that matters. And I think there's something really kind of cool about that, right? It's just like everybody was into it. And I did talk about this on Coffee Break once. And we get to the thing, and you buy your tickets, and then at the concession, they had very British concessions. The combo of the night was a cheeseburger and a Mars bar, and I think maybe a pint. I can't remember if they had beer there, but that was really cool. Yo, what up, Michael? Good to see you. Sixers, yo, Sixers from my dad. He loved Dr. J, and later he was really into AI. Who was not? It's not generative AI. Allen Iverson, the only AI that I salute. Oh man, Sixers is a. It's funny that people will say. I mean, Philly's a giant sports town, and everybody just kind of all funnel into a love of the Eagles. But all the sports, you name it, everybody's into it. Like it's Philly season right now. Everybody's into the Phils. The Sixers had a great season, and then the tires fell off. Well, they just got trampled by this lightning storm, Knickerbockers. But in the early '80s, being from Philly and Dr. J was it. He was all. He was all there was, and it was so cool. Um, but yeah, let me read some. Hey, what up, Suze? Suze checking in. Sue says was tall. Yes. Were you always tall, Suze? Was tall, so always played basketball, then volleyball and ran track. Suze was an athlete. Did you used to just kind of like just like crush them? And I guess also your school had a lot of not intramurals, what is it? A lot of sports. We had no sports in my school. Let me see if I missed anybody. Gordon says always had an interest growing up. Played on high school team and followed World Cups. That's what's up. Ronaldo also says I love tennis as well, and that's because of playing and watching with my father. Yo, tennis. So this is what era of tennis are we talking about? Are we talking about like um, Billie Jean King, John McEnroe, Arthur Ashe, uh, Martina Navratilova? Like where are we in the tennis world? Shout out to the Williams sisters, and I still remember when Venus and Serena showed up. Everybody was like big mad. Sue says my family was a big ACC basketball family. I used to arm wrestle the guys during. Did you go out to the hallway when nobody was looking? And then you took off your hat and did do 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 do. Ba-da-da-da-da. Do, 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 do. Yep. Ronaldo says McEnroe was my dad's guy. Agassi. Yo, he had those fire kicks. Those Andre Agassi's had him crying in the hallway. Tennis is interesting. I've never been to a tennis match. There was one point when I was a younger poobah, and I worked at the rec center. Um, and the rec center that I worked at had a giant tennis program, and it was really cool because I think the Williams sisters had just kind of started, and they kind of had just shaken up the inner city, and all of a sudden, all these little black kids wanted to play tennis, and it was so dope. And they had like lines of people that wanted to play tennis, and it was cool. And I used to watch them, kind of like run through this young group of like, I guess they were like young hotshot girls who were like, I guess, really good. And One thing that I remember about that is like all the kids were like super serious. They were like nobody's smiling. They were like they were like laser focused. Um, Sue says Bjorn Borg. Wow. Martina Navratilova, Chris Everett. Wow, yeah, that's wild. Tennis has been big for a long time. But it's just like a sports thing. Everybody loves their sports. And I hope that all the people who are visiting from other parts of the world to our fine country have a good experience. This is crazy. I just saw that somebody was saying, oh, that author I follow, Jason Pargan, was talking about how he's been following the accounts of all of these tourists who have come from all over the world for the World Cup and are experiencing America, like the real America. Like, just had a hot dog in Duluth, Minnesota. This is fantastic. And they're just like at this hole in the wall, like hot dog stand, or getting the tire fixed by somebody in the middle of, Montana. And there's just people are just in America doing the thing. I just hope that all works out for everybody. Guys, good to see all you people. I was getting concerned earlier that our numbers were down, but our numbers have pumped up a little bit. Thank you so much for your support. Um, yo, pause. Did you see the German guy with the big gulp? No, what happened? I mean, it sounds like was he like this? This is an insane amount of beverage. I mean, that's also another kind of cultural thing. Like I remember we went to Canada, and well, it was the first time we went to Tim Hortons, and it's funny because they have Tim Hortons in the states now. I've seen Tim Hortons in different cities now, but we were in Canada, and after this long drive, go in there and just like, oh, this must be Canadian Dunkin' Donuts. And we go in there, it's like, can I get a large coffee? And they brought this like a Dixie cup across the counter. I was like, no, no, I'm sorry, I wanted a large, and they're like, and one of the things about traveling is you get to see you get to see, I guess, how the other half lives. And if any of you guys, have ever traveled or just been in a different place that's not here, you kind of maybe take on some of those traits if you find it, interestingly challenging. Like I was in uh, Europe, and you kind of got used to how everybody just slows down. You didn't see anybody like rushing to work with a Dunkin' in their hand. They don't do that. You sit at the little table with your little cup, your little Dimitase cup, with your, you know, and you just sip that, right? It might have the paper folded into a quarter, reading that. You get up, put your little whatever on the table, and you just like walk off. Nobody's like being frenetic and frantic. Yeah, shout out the Timbits. We had to get the Timbits, Ronaldo. And we had a good buddy named Tim, and we bought him back a thing of Timbits. It was great. But it was just like, while you're over there, you're kind of like, man, do Americans just consume a lot? Like the idea of a big gulp pause is crazy. Like, who's ingesting this much anything? It's much beverage. But then you kind of like live among other folks for a minute. And it's just like, I don't really, when I get home, I want to make some changes. When I get home, I'm just going to have like a little something. Even these mugs, shout out to Saito son, Gogo 13, Master of Snipe. Even their coffee mugs are smaller. And it's just like I could do this. And like the week after you're home, you ain't doing it anymore. Tell her, Suze, no decaf. What up, Cruiser Bill? Cruiser Bill says, I'm sure you've said it before, but how you fancy up your coffee or you just take it straight? Pause. Um, when I was a little when I was a little younger, because I've had periods, I am not even though I love coffee, I'm not a coffee snob. You know how also something that Americans seem to do is like you just can't enjoy shit. You got to be an expert at it. You got to know and I'll even admit as a Philadelphian, I'll argue with anybody about cheesesteaks for like 3 hours. But with coffee, I'm kind of like, I don't care. So what I generally do, I like old man coffee. Like I like Folgers, like strong old man coffee. I like Folgers. I like Maxwell House. I like some Bustelo with just a little half and half in it. Or shout out the Nut Pods. Meh, 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 meh. And I just put some like a little half and half in it, nothing else. There was a point if I have my druthers that I'll enjoy a nice cafe au lait or a latte with oat milk. But there was one point where I liked the cafe au lait with I think what was it, 2 Splenda and a bump of cinnamon. I used to get my assistant at work to get me that. It was funny. It's like, "Yo, don't forget, that's right, bump of cinnamon." But, you can't ask people to get you shit anymore. That's frowned upon. European countries have the market on breakfast. They just do it better. Yeah, man. Even like some jambone, right? Just like was it like some bread, meat, and cheese? Shit is dope. We talked about nut pods. Pause. Nut pods is kind of like this. It's kind of like it's a creamer, and I think it's oat milk and something else. And if not, I'll just have half and half. I don't like milk, and my coffee just tastes funky. Mad Sue's coming to you from Heroes Con. Meh, 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 meh. Now the show starts tomorrow, right? You guys are just in town for travel. So yeah, this is great. You kick back in the hotel room, you like get a little close to your shorty, and you watch Coffee Break with JN on your video scope. You know how to do it. Well, I hope. No Jimmy Connor fans. I don't know. Any Jimmy Connor fans? Tennis was just like a weird thing. And I never really understood the rules of tennis. Never going to a tennis match. Mark, you kill me, man. Mark always got those zingers. You always got those. You always got bars on Coffee Break. America got that Wegovy breakfast with a little metformin. Just crack metformin. Get a little salt base sprinkle off the forearm. What? Ross says, speaking of, did you see Tom Brady's new coconut water brand? They call it Good Nut. Ah, this this guy doesn't need any more money. Jimmy Connors was good, just kind of an a-hole. Well, you need a bad boy, right? Isn't that it? And this is funny because even Stone Cold Steve Conley and I had had pencil last night. Shout out to Mike, who wasn't with us last night, and I was saying, and you can debate me on this. I said I love our audience. I love the community we built on our YouTube channel. We've been doing this for what, 7 years, something like that. It's crazy. Our numbers are really modest, and there's people who have kind of like just showed up out the blue and just blow our numbers out of the water. And it's not about the numbers. It's not what this is about. But I said, you know what? I think our show is boring, and I'm saying boring as a good thing. There's nobody wearing sunglasses having hot takes, or us just doing shorts of clips of our videos where somebody's like you know, moving furniture and fist fighting in the background. That's kind of what everything's built off of now. Everything's predicated on some sort of viral moment or a hot take or like, oh no, he didn't, or all of that. And I was just like, we don't have any of that stuff, and I don't want that stuff. But I said, but maybe Stone Cold Steve Conley needs to turn heel. He shows up next week with a black shoe polish goatee, in his hair and in a pompadour, and just start saying wild shit. And I think that our numbers might go up. What do you think? Right? And that's almost the thing. Like, why, whatever you are into or whatever you view or you come back to, there's got to be a reason, right? And I'm sure some of us are, and maybe you're not like watching those pop the balloon shows that always kind of come across my Facebook thing. Because, in the comments, it's like, watch the whole episode. I don't want to watch any of this. But those little clips are enough to make you interested in the craziness, right? Stone Cold Steve Conley versus John Cena in the main event. I'd pay money to see that. Speaking of wrestling, this is funny. Shout out to Danhausen. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, sometimes there's people that transcend pro wrestling and bleed into pop culture. So shout out to Donovan Danhausen, who's this not new, but he's this wrestler who just kind of started with the WWE, and he wears like face paint, and he's kind of like he's almost like a UHF channel Svengoolie type of like he wears face paint and he's got this like little kind of like Dracula outfit on, and he just runs around and does like goofy shit. And he is so over right now. So I don't know if you saw this, but he cursed the Spurs. That's one of his gimmicks. He goes, "You are cursed," and he cursed the San Antonio Spurs and the Knicks. So I just saw this clip of people out in front of Madison Square Garden with Knicks hats that have Danhausen mask in it, and I was just like, "Yo, he's getting paid." That's so funny. So, but yeah, like even talking about tennis, it's one of those kind of transitional things. Like you would probably never, not the royal you probably never watched a tennis match, but you know who the Williams sisters are. You probably never watched a whole ass tennis match, but you know who John McEnroe is because he broke his tennis racket and he's like screaming at the umpire. Right? Those things are like bigger than the sport. And I mean, I don't know. Like, does everything need a bad boy? I just saw this clip of Dennis Rodman, right? And Dennis Rodman was giving people fits that when he was on the Pistons and he was like about to like get into a fist fight with Michael Jordan or whatever, and people were just like, "Yo, Rodman was a monster." And he would just make contact and make you pay for everything. But also, he was a heat magnet, right? He was like controversial. And then he wound up in wrestling. He was like in the NWO. I was like, of course, like the Bulls. This is a perfect wrestling thing. The Bulls had just won the world championship, and then I think WCW Nitro was at the United Center, and the NWO comes out with Hollywood Hogan, and Dennis Rodman out the limo. I was like, oh my god, Dennis Rodman's the coolest dude on earth. Some people are bigger than the thing they've come out of. Is there anybody else that you guys can think of that are transitional talents that are bigger than their sport? Right? Sue says, yes, never watched a whole tennis match, but I know who the greats are. Right? And I mean, even in, uh, like basketball, even like this resurgence of Michael Jackson, where now it's us olds, us Gen Xers, are trying to explain Michael Jackson to people because they just know the moonwalk and they think he's cool. But I was like, don't you understand how big Michael Jackson was? Like, our world is so different now because Taylor Swift is big, big, but Michael Jackson was nuclear big. Yo, Reed Punk Taco, what up, Adam? Good to see you, bro. Wait a minute. Ronaldo is the lore master. Yo, you surprised us last coffee break. You just pulling out mad lore. Rodman was not supposed to be at Nitro. It was mid-season, and the Bulls didn't know he was out of town. He was supposed to play the next night. Oh, I love it. Pele, yes, that was the '70s. I never watched a soccer match, but you knew who Pele was, and he did the kick. He did the kick. I was like, yo, he did the kick. Never seen a soccer match, but you knew who Pele was. Thank you, Tio Michael. That's a perfect example. They transcend the sport. I gotta be careful. I almost drink all my coffee. Mark, one of these days, you and I are going to have a serious conversation. But Richard Simmons was bigger than that. Like Richard Simmons was a whole thing, and then he kind of turned into like a I don't want to say a joke, but like he kind of got in this lane and was like, oh, that's that weirdy dude. Yeah, Ali and Tyson are transcendent. Everybody knew who Muhammad Ali was, and that was even like culturally, Muhammad Ali was just like, yo, this dude's amazing. And he was bigger than boxing, right? But do you need that? Like, do you need those people? I mean, even with the like with women's basketball, the last couple of years, like Caitlin Clark, people were like, oh my God, Caitlin Clark is amazing. Then you also had Angel Reese, who was like, yo, where's my flowers? And people start watching like WNBA just for that. But I mean, and that's kind of what I guess that's what makes the world go around. You need that, you know. And then you hope people stay and become a fan. But yeah, you kind of need those. Like, I mean, basketball is full of those people, but like Rodman, Charles Barkley is a good one. um, there's a million basketball stars, but like you think of somebody like Charles Barkley, who was the first person, not the first, who kind of went on record. He was another bad boy who was just like, yo, I ain't a role model. You be a role model of your kids. I played basketball, and that just mess with people. All right, hold on. Let's close this poll out. Pause. And let's see what we got here. I wish you could make this. This is so tiny. Let's stop the poll. 67% of the pollsters want soccer and enjoy it. 33% could not care less. Good job. Good job, you guys. Right? So even Sue says WNBA is great right now. See, like sometimes you need these pivotal personalities that break out. Yo, hold on, it's time for claps. I call Shogun. What up, Shogun? Yo, I feel bad. I haven't seen the P and Dubs in a minute. Good to see you. Bro says kids Gen Z and younger are Messi or Ronaldo fans, but don't really like soccer. And the my guy is better is like console wars. Yo, what kind of cookies is Dakota baking? I want a Dakota cookie. Pause. Yo, somebody make me a 10 and send me some cookies, yo. That sounds hot. All right, let's. I'm going to transition real quick because this has been fun. Uh, um, so there's a lot going on, and also Philadelphia, the birthplace of independence, is celebrating it. What's this? The quadricentennial, whatever it is, like the 250th year. And all of a sudden, there's all these all of a sudden there's all these lists coming out because also there's World Cup people all invading Philly, and all of these kind of best eats guides are coming out. And I try to stay away from those things, but also I take notes because I'm like, yeah, I never heard of this place. Maybe I check that out. And I shared one of these on my Facebook. It's the 75, no, 76, get it? The 76 best, or not, it's not best, like most Philadelphian food things or eat things. And, you know, there's a little bit of a cheesesteak war in there, and I'm not going to talk about cheesesteaks tonight. But one of the things that I enjoyed was there's some really Philadelphian things. And talking about transcending is that if you've never been to my town, you probably had a cheesesteak before, or someone's like, "Oh, if you ever go to Philly, you got to get a cheesesteak." And also, some pet peeves, they'll say things like, "Oh, I got to get a Philly." No one in Philadelphia calls cheesesteaks Phillies or Philly anything. It's not a Philly cheesesteak because we live here. Keep that language out of the city limits. Uh, Ross says, "Bisis Bicentennial or semi-quincentennial or sister." Mm, that's a lot. Um, but there's this one kind of like video essay reporter for the one of the newspapers here who's been doing these video blogs, and she has made this challenge that for like 2 weeks she can only eat food off this list, and she's like hitting all these spots. And the first place that she was on her list was Stock's Bakery, and Stock's is this old bakery in the kind of like in this. It's not South Philly; it's kind of in South Philly. And if I have this right, Stocks and I think O'Terry's is another place that they've never turned their ovens off in like 40 years or something. And what Stocks is famous for is this pound cake that that is ridiculous. It's like real thick and it's decadent, and on the top of it is a like a layer of frosting. And you slice like I know some people will toast it, not toast it. They might put some butter on it and like grill it. And if you get a Stocks pound cake, you give it to somebody. You got to give them a warning. You can't just take this to the head. You got to slice this up thin and just enjoy. You got to eat. You got to eat on it for like a week because you'll eat it. You'll get sick. Like it's so rich. Ronaldo says a roast pork sandwich is better than a cheesesteak. Nah, I'm not doing cheesesteaks tonight, you guys. We're not getting into that. I'll give you that because you're an out of towner. You can feel that way. Um, and everybody's opinion is valid here on Coffee Break with Jay. Um, and what they're talking about today was water ice, and I want to because this is ridiculous. Um, and water ice is another Philly staple, and it's trying to explain water ice is really hard because it's not shaved ice like you've been in New York and they have like, or it's not a snow cone either. Where shaved ice is where my man is like scraping this shit off the cube and puts it in a little paper cup and then pours the juice on it. That's not water ice. It's kind of more like slow mix and churns, and it comes in like a ice cream. If you go to the ice cream spot and you like look in the glass, and they have just like all the different tubs, it kind of comes like that, and you scoop it out, and you do mixes like cherry lemon mix, whatever you would get, whatever your flavor, and then you top that off with a Philly soft pretzel, bro. So, it's not all about cheesesteaks here. There's so much food. And then there's some really amazing uh, ch- uh, Asian spots. Um, and let me see if I can find a picture. I probably won't find a picture. And for my chapter, my it's right. It's Wooter ice, not water ice. It's Wooter. It said Wooter ice. Um, being the chapter chair of the Philadelphia chapter of the National Cartoonist Society, we just had a in-person dinner. We went to Sankey Duck House, Sankey Peking Duck House in Chinatown last weekend, and had an amazing meal. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And there's a lot of the spots. They're so good. Soft pretzels out the shop cart just taste better. See, Ross, I'm older than you. And we used to get them from the median. Like my man used to stand in the in the middle of the intersection next to the red light with a whole sleeve of soft pretzels under his armpit and just like ingesting exhaust. We used to call it armpit pretzels because they just sometimes they tasted like my man's armpit. Sit out there all day. And that's also the beginning. There was a period in time, I don't know if you know this, Bros, was there was a period in time where, yeah, Telemark, it's almost hard to get a bad meal in Chinatown in Philly. It's all dope. And I was going to do a shout out to Terakawa Ramen, my favorite ramen spot in the city. Now, there was a moment like 20 years ago you couldn't trip on a ramen spot in Philly. Now there's like 6 of them. Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, Suze. I'm not a big brownie person, but I'll check. I think so. Oh yeah, Reading Terminal. That's where all your dreams come true. I'm getting distracted. Um, so we're talking about water rights. So anyway, people were like, "Yo, this is good. You ready for this?" So they were doing a man on the street, and they're like, "Hey, where's your favorite water ice spot?" And also a very Philadelphia thing. Everybody's very territorial, and also will root out anybody who's a tourist. So these people are standing in the middle of like Rittenhouse Park, and they're like, "Rita's," and the comments went crazy. Like, "Yo, you must be a tourist. You ain't from here. Don't you ever say Rita's water ice?" And the people are like, "What's wrong with Rita's?" Is a chain of water ice spots, and it's serviceable. But there's almost like water ice spots that are like on pinpoints in the city. So shout out to John's Water Ice in South Philly. Watch it back. Pops. Also, Maroney's is where I used to go to as a kid in West Philly, 63rd Street, where it's just a wall with a yellow light and a window. Oh, yo, that's crazy. And if you like ramen and you think ramen is like that brick of bird feed that you get from the supermarket that you used to make in your college dorm, go to like a traditional ramen spot and have a real bowl of ramen. You're going to be like, what even is my life right now? Yo, it may be June. Guess what next month is? What up, Julian? Hello, everyone. Hope all is good. Just got home from movie critic work. I gotta try Philly food. Dude, you gotta come through. I'm gonna bless the kid. We're gonna get fat. Bros says, growing up, my dad would buy them at talk about armpit pretzels. Growing up, my dad would buy them at the first light after coming over the bridge. He'd have the window down and cash ready. Yup. Ronaldo says Rita is definitely a chain. We have one 2 minutes from my house. It's all right. Yo, they got Ritas in LA. Yo, they're stacking paper. Yeah, when you make that top ramen, shout out to chicken flavored top ramen. You doing the Buck Rogers with the dates rolling at the bottom of the screen. That's fantastic. All right, you guys. You know what? Because I have fulfilled all of my obligations, there are no standing um, Jamar crates. All orders have been fulfilled. I think it's time for a Nah John prize. So that means I am going to, with the time we have left, we're gonna do a giveaway, and I'm also gonna do a Sue's pose. So if you've never done this, you're about to get your world rocked. Um, where you guys will get a curated crate of stuff from my studio sent to you if you win this raffle. All right, so let's get this up on the screen, and you guys should know how to do this now. What you're going to see on your screen is, oh shit, this is your Phrase It Pays Tonight World Cup. So you always remember your first use book. So, guys, what you need to do is in the chat, um, please copy this verbatim, hashtag World Cup, all caps, and put that in the chat. You'll be entered into the raffle. Don't try to be cute and try to finesse it and type it in lowercase or case sensitive. It will not register. Use your reading comprehension and type exactly what you see on the screen with the hashtag. And it may just be Ronaldo. Okay, Ronaldo. I would just send Ronaldo to the Jamar Creek because nobody else is entering. So yes, yeah. So we're gonna wait a little bit and let people populate that. And it's easy. You could be watching on Facebook. You could be watching on YouTube. Just type into the chat or into replies, hashtag World Cup, and you'll be entered into the raffle. Um, and sometimes, well, I can't remember. We've done like what, just 3 or 4 times. And what's funny is that we have never, no one's won it the same. Nobody's won it twice. And if you have gotten one before, you can enter again. I don't care. Whoever wins, I'll send it to you. So what happens if you haven't seen this is after we get all the entries in, I hit the randomizer, and then it just picks whoever. I have nothing to do with it, and it picks who's going to win. And then after that, you send me your information, and I send you a crate. You throw me the idol, I throw you the whip. How hard is that? Pause. It's not hard at all. So, guys, let's keep populating this. I see there's like 4 or 5 people, and there's like 20 people watching. Um, and your information is safe with me. I'm not going to disclose your government or whatever. I'm just going to send you a crate and just be done with it. I'm not collecting data or anything. Um, and also, it's like one of my favorite things. I love kind of doing these little things. And for anybody that's gotten a Jamar crate from me in the past, please tell the chat what the treasures that lie within and how cool that is. All right. So we'll give it a couple more minutes. And this is going to be quick because there's only like 5 or 6 people. I don't know why I got to push this hard, y'all. Y'all want stuff? Just type it in the chat. What's the hold up? Did I spell World Cup is like one of those things that looks weird the longer you look at the word. Like, did I spell that right? That looks funny. All right, so we'll do another minute on the chat. Tell him, Ronaldo, Jamar crates are legit. It's like the Matrix, though. You can't explain it. You just see it for yourself. I think it's time for everybody to watch the Matrix again. I really think it's, and I watch it like every 3 years, and I'm just like, man, it holds up in a couple of ways. Paul Pate, what up, Paul Pate? Paul Pate, I have a piece of mail for you. I just put a stamp on it, and I'm going to send it out to you. Cruising Bill just got a Jamar crate. I don't think one can describe a Jamar crate. But is there trash in the Jamar crate? No, it's all good. Yo, what up, Bill? Dollar Bill, yo. Bill, put your name up in the raffle. Hashtag World Cup. I was about to say hashtag Paul Pate. Paul Pate, what up, Paul Pate? Yes, there's physical mail. Don't get too excited, but I'm going to put something in the mail for you. Let's see who else is in. Ronaldo watched The Matrix with his oldest son. Watching him learn what The Matrix was, it was like I was seeing it the first time. Yo, that was like that was like when the America was on fire after George Floyd, and I had a lot of people like kind of it's just so messed up for the first time. Like, yo, JN, all these years you've been telling me about racism, that was real. And I said, in the Matrix, where Keanu Reeves like wakes up in the pudding, he wakes up in the Jello, and he takes the cords out the back of his neck, and he looks up, and the sky is on fire. That's the real world. I'm glad you just figured it out. Yes, tell them, Bill. John creates a gold. Too late. I'm already excited. Too late. Yes, the earth has been scorched, and we're being used as fuel. That's what I've been telling y'all. You just saw it. You're looking at the world with fresh eyes now. Yes. All right, you guys. Anybody else? We could just do a whole episode of The Matrix. All right, with 9 intro. Now that's been weaponized. Yes, how crazy is that? They don't hear me though. All right, you guys, let's keep it positive. We have 9 entries. You guys ready? We're gonna do this thing because I want to do a Sue's pose to get out of here. Oh, also shout out to the fact that Will Smith was supposed to be Neo in The Matrix, but he turned it down to do Wild Wild West. That's also why I think not to be weird like that, but that's also why I think Jada Pinkett is in The Matrix. I think. What up, Big Red? Good to see you, bro. Joe, put your name into the raffle real quick. Type this into the chat. Hashtag World Cup all caps. Come on, you guys. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, you didn't know that? I mean, if you think about it, just like replace Keanu Reeves with Will Smith. And you could go, oh, yep. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably a good call. Yeah, that's real rap. There you go, Joe. All right, that's enough. You guys are taking forever. Cruising Bill says, I would say it would be fun to get some Philly snacks and future Jamar crates. Show off some of those local goodies, huh? Yeah, you know what? Let me think about that. I'll try to put some food in there. Yeah, tell him, July. Jada was supposed to be Trinity if Will actually did take the role of Neo. She then joined in 2 and 3 in the game. See? Yes. All right, guys, let's do this thing. All right. I forgot how to do this. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm so excited. My heart is beating. Heart's beating fast. All right, you guys, let's go. Let's hit it. Drum roll. Yo, Matt. Matt, you won. Yo, give it up for Matt Waringo of the Waringo Dynasty. All things are coming up, Matt Waringo. Matt has won the Jamar crate for tonight. Everybody shout him out in the chat. Everybody's like, wait, Will Smith was supposed to be Neo. Oh, I gotta go shopping for them. All right, yo, they're gonna melt. It's like 90 degrees out. I can't put tasty cakes in the Jamar crate. West, Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. No, you don't want nada. Wait, what? Sean Connery was supposed to be Morpheus. Now this is just out of control. Yo, shout out to Matt. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's a major award for Geely. It's Italian. That's wild. Look, Matt just passed out. So from all this excitement, so Matt, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to send you that. Shogun says, "Damn, we could have had a Smith Connery Matrix. That alternate universe really missed out." Yeah, that's a whole other. That's not the 616. All right, I'm going to clear the screen. Congratulations to Matt. And let's start to get this together. Let's put our wheels up. Suze Waringo. Yes, you will. You just won. Is that what you're wanting? Yes, you won, sir. Or are you like what that Will Smith was supposed to be Neo? And wait a minute, hold on. And also, isn't the lore that in the failed Kevin Smith Superman script, he was supposed to fight a metal spider, and not none of that happened. So that's where the metal spider came from in Wild Wild West. I think that's how that worked. Matt, will you share your crate with Suze? That is the fracture of the timeline. That and Biff getting the almanac is put us where we are right now. All right, you guys. Suze, report to the dance floor. Let's do a Suze pose and let's get out of here. Let me get my assets together. I gotta clean this up, man. I got way too many drawings. All right. I hope you'll share it. Suze, I'll put something in there for you too. All right, guys, are ready? Let's get our Suze pose together. You know what to do. We're gonna do chips tonight. I put my hand upon your chip, then I dip, you dip, we dip. That pose was so cold I almost froze. Suze pose. Yo, I miss you guys. I wish I was in North Carolina with you guys. That would have been a lot of fun. Shout out to my man Brad Tree. Shout out to the Ringos doing a world famous. Yo, if anybody is going to be a hero, do a Suze pose for me and send me the flick. All right, on our way out of here, let's read the rest of these things. That's right. All right, let's see. So July says, yes, I read the script for Superman Lives. The producer really wanted a giant robot spider, and after it fell apart, he produced Wild Wild West and had to put it in a movie. Yes. Yep, Giant Spider was the producer's wish from the Nick Cage, Kevin Smith Superman that ended up in Wild Wild West. That's movie magic. Yo, make sure you put on your deodorant. On the night shift. Ooh. There's something going down on the night shift. All right, you guys. That was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. I usually do my thing, but I'm gonna do my thing real quick because we all know that Coffee Break with JN is a thinly veiled infomercial for my Patreon. But let's do some business on the way out of here, guys. Guess what? Not chicken butt. Guess what? Leon and the Big Problem has just gone to print. Can I get some yays from the congregation? Can I get some snaps from the group? Um, Editorial told me in the middle of this week. Guess what? We hit the button. Leon and the Big Problem is off to print. Very excited, you guys. How cool is that? The book will be out January 2027. I know it's such a long time, but we're going to have a really cool fall with lots of things. A little later, in probably at the end of the summer into the early fall, we'll start talking with marketing and promotion about touring or whatever happens this time. That's right. Let's go. LFG. Cruiser Bill says, does Bodega Voltron make an appearance? No, no Bodega Voltron. There is a Mike Hawthorne cameo in Protector of the Playground, though. Yes, 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 yeah. To the printer. It'd be funny if somebody turned around and just like pressed print. PC load letter. But guys, the 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 mission is not completed. I need you goggles. Hmm. Hmm. I need you, yes, you, not the royal you, to tell your people about Leon and the Big Problem. Now you have four, maybe three whole books of a fantastic story featuring a young man of color saving a day using only his common sense. What a great tale for our time. I poured my heart and soul into these books, you know. And I left it all on the field, you guys. I think you're gonna love Leon and the Big Problem. I made this book kind of. There's not a lot of pomp and circumstance. Is these characters uh, finding themselves being their true selves, seeing an arc play out. I've been planting seeds since the first book. A lot of stuff comes off in here, right? Yes, let your teacher friends know. It's on pre-order now. Get it wherever you get it. I always say support your local bookstores. Go to bookshop.org. Go to Bezos if you got to. Go to BNN. Go to whatever. Cop it, right? Because here's the thing. If we get crazy numbers in the pre-order, that's a really great way to pop the book onto the New York Times bestseller. Because you have all these months of pre-orders that kind of like gimmick the numbers for the release. So this is our moment, you guys. Get me on the New York Times bestseller list. I still have on my mission board, on my dream board. There's the Leon Macy's Day Parade blimp. I never forgot that. We need that balloon. Help that happen. Thank you very much. Thank you for entertaining that. It means the world to me that you guys rock with me. And also, I gotta make my famous friends from work proud of me. Like, right, Dave Pilkey? Like, you know, I gotta go back to Dave Pilkey and like, look, bro, I know this ain't Dog Man, but we got something going on over here, right? What am I supposed to say to Raina Telgemeier? Raina, the pre-orders weren't there. Can we still be friends? I don't know. This ain't guts. I don't know. What are we gonna do? What am I gonna tell Jeff Smith? Come on, you guys. Keep me in the game. All right. At this moment, I don't believe so. Gotta get the numbers up. Gotta get the numbers up. They just don't make stuff just to make it. I gotta make the numbers to make them want to make it. I know this sounds backwards, but that's how this works. Tell it, yo, run, tell that, tell them. Thank you guys for your support after all these years. And this is going to be another great one. I can't wait for you to read it. Because, Leon, Worst Friends Forever ended on a cliffhanger. I resolved that cliffhanger in the first part of Big Big Problem, and then we get started with a whole new adventure. So good. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna lock this up. Let's say goodnight, John Boy. If you have not at this time, you know what to do. You should be joining my Patreon, where all your dreams come true. And I'll even make it easy on you. I'll even make it easy on you. I'll put a John in the corner. I'll put a doobly doo in the corner. You just boop that with your phone. You're just sitting in a hotel room with your feet up. Boop that. It'll take you right to the Patreon. So that's right. Wow. And if you don't get a slipcover, just buy all 3 books and put them in a fancy bow. Put them in a belly band, Suze. All right, you guys, love you the most. Let's say goodnight. Guys, you've been watching Coffee Break with JN with your boy JN. We did it again, y'all. We did it. We did it. Yay, we did it. You got to hang out with me and my caffeines. You know who you are, caffeines. Friends and regulars, not decaf, of Coffee Break with JN. And we chopped it up into a fine dice. Besides this hat that I wear all the time, I wear many others, and I also have lots of nicknames. Some of those may be some greatest hits like John Cena. Yo, you don't know about the caffeines, Cruising Bill? Friends and regulars, not decaf of Coffee Break with JN. Yes, a caffeine. We're fiending for the caffeine. That's right. Pope John Paul. I can't even get it out. Philly Seymour Hoffman, the administrator of the facility. You see me running. You see my man running through the hallways with an ice cream machine under his hand. John Wick, and we're gonna bring it home. And the captain of this starship, John Luke Picard. You always throw that one in there at the end. There are 4 cakes. What happened here tonight? You got to hang out with me, and you got to watch me drink a cup of coffee and run my mouth. I almost forgot the coffee. Now that I'm out of coffee, somebody wake up Hicks. Join the Patreon. See you in the after party tonight. Congratulations, Matt. Enjoy your Jamar Crate.